All right, so let's start off this show. Logan comes out. They recap the Twitter exchange with him and or Logan Paul comes out. They recap the Twitter exchange with him and Roman. Paul recalled having Reigns at his podcast, saying after if he wrestled Reigns, it would be his match. If he wrestled Reigns, it would be his match. The crowd gave him the what treatment. And Paul said he set up a press conference for Saturday in Las Vegas and challenged Reigns to show up and meet him face to face. Paul Heyman interrupted Paul with the ladies and gentlemen. Heyman walked out with Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Solo, Sikoa, and Sami. He introduced himself and spoke about his partnership with Reigns, and Heyman entered the ring and shook hands with Paul, while the Bloodline members remained at ringside. Heyman told the Bloodline he had it handled. There he is, Logan Paul, Heyman said. The fans booed. Heyman said if anyone outside WWE could be called Paul Heyman, it would be Paul. That was actually a funny line. Heyman recalled Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather and pointed out the height difference between the two, and Heyman also brought up Jake Paul's upcoming fight with Anderson Silva and predicted that Silva would knock him out. That was pretty. Heyman said he wouldn't fight either man. Heyman said the only thing he cared about in the moment was Paul picking a fight with someone else, and Paul said he booked a press conference and asked what the Bloodline was so afraid of. Paul questioned if they were worried that he might challenge Reigns to a title match at the press conference. Paul said Reigns would probably smash him, but he played the possibility of landing one lucky shot and dropping Reigns like a sack of potatoes. Paul acted scared and questioned what would happen if he were to beat Reigns for the championship. Or Heyman acted scared. If your brother had balls, he'd be your sister, but he doesn't, so he's not, Heyman replied. Heyman said he now had to handle Paul, and he called for Solo Sikoa, who stood in the ring apron with his newly crowned NXT championship. And Paul told Heyman he's willing to be the guy, he willing to bet that he could knock him out before Sikoa can get to him. Sami Zayn in the ring and told Sikoa he could handle it. Sikoa dropped off the apron. Zayn told Heyman that he loves him, but he might not be the best man for the job. And Zayn said maybe Roman should have let him handle Paul. And Heyman dropped the mic and indicated that Heyman could have at it. Zayn approached Paul and said he would explain how things work around here, and Paul dropped Zayn with the right hand and asked him how things work. The other Bloodline members hit the ring, but Paul rolled out to the other side, and then Ricochet comes down and stood with Paul. Which, okay, so that was like that was a weird out on this. What did you think of this?
Well, I thought it was hilarious when the people were telling him what, and he goes, "I'll tell you what."
Right, yeah.
Bro, he's supposed to be the baby face. He got vociferously booed. What a tremendous word. And when Paulie said his brother's going to get knocked out by Anderson Silva, the people popped.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say this, Logan gets it better than most. He's better than 80% of the roster on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sami got cheered, as you saw. He's going to be a massive baby face. And, you know, Paul got booed when he knocked Sami out.
Right.
I didn't think this was a great segment, to tell you the truth.
Well, then it broke down.
It was all right.
Yeah. Then we come back from the break, and it's Ricochet against Sami Zayn. And let me see. Well, they go back. But this is, like I said, this is 13 minutes.
Typical really good match. Too long for my taste.
Way too long. And then Ricochet went over. So Paul was up.
Yeah, but tell them what happened at the end, because I was like,
okay, what? So after the match, the Usos and Sikoa climbed on the apron. Ricochet and Paul stood inside the ring. The Madcap Moss ran out with the chair in hand and joined the babyfaces, causing the Usos to jump off the apron.
So that was my only thing of this. The match was great, but I was like, what is Madcap doing in this feud? He seems really out of place.
Yeah. No explanation or anything.
Right.
I don't know. This is, yeah. So a black and white video aired that included Karrion Kross delivering a promo while Scarlett stood by, and footage of his attack on McIntyre was shown. Kross said McIntyre was publicly executed by the people's chosen executioner and recalled having his arms around McIntyre's neck. "Oh, poor baby," Scarlett said before laughing, and Kross spoke about putting McIntyre through an endless loop of suffering. That was a good promo. All his promos have been great. Short to this is exactly how they produce him in NXT. So,
Jeff, have we heard from Jesse Ventura on Kross or no?
No, he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I don't know if he's flying or
right. Hopefully Jesse will. Hopefully Jesse will get a hold of us. Bro, how can you not watch this and not understand the great continued character development for him and Scarlett? It's been great. The guy's got, it's like an actor. Yeah. Anyways, and they did the little White Rabbit thing, from Jefferson Starship. That's the first time I ever heard, like, you know how in the Matrix they go, if you take the red pill, if you take the blue pill. That's like the first time I ever heard in that song in the 60s. Right. That's pretty cool. Whatever it is, I really want to see what it is. If it's Bray Wyatt, I'm cool. If it isn't,
where did they have that on? I think I must have missed this.
Yeah, they had like a little, like some guy was kind of walking by with with those things called the QR.
Right.
And then it would it said like the date or the song.
Oh, but September 23rd or something like that. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, yeah.
This Friday, and I like that. You know,
Right.
I have it. I have it if you want to see it.
Yeah, show it to Di.
I miss this.
Jug
Yeah, because
Mastriano.
he didn't see it. Good job, Joe.
Thank you. That's inside. Let me see. This is the.
Wait, didn't something air? Oh, okay, so that aired on the show. Oh, I did see this.
Did you?
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to it.
Bro, I love that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's so bizarre and out of the ordinary. I really like it, and it's it's not long. Yeah.
All right, so next, Max Dupree and Maxine Dupree were introduced and stood in the room with a spotlight on them. Max said they were only stone's throw away from Los Angeles, and Max said they were there to introduce a Maximum Male Models Back to School collection. Marseille and Mansois walked onto the stage and modeled school-themed attire. The bronze music came out, and he just came running out and clobbered both of those guys. He hit Mansoor with an uppercut and powerbomb him. Then Chad Gable made his entrance to distract Strowman until Otis entered the ring and hit him from behind. Gable entered the ring and was hoisted up by Strowman, but Otis hit Strowman to save Gable. Otis put Strowman down with the power slam, but Strowman sat right up while the Alpha Academy duo headed to ringside. Strowman ripped his shirt off and challenged Otis, who was game, but Gable talked him down. What'd you think?
You said Max Dupree should do mic work, and he did.
Yes, every time.
Guy looks like a megastar.
Right.
Okay, whatever Maxine was wearing was super unflattering, unlike last week where she was mega hot.
Right.
Bro, this was the beginning of this was actually kind of funny because Max said that they would be modeling the back to school outfits, and Cole goes, "Yeah, but school didn't start until a month ago." And then I think it was Graves on that show, right?
Yeah.
Graves goes, "Fashion is timeless," and he goes, "And I've been waiting the whole year for this." And one guy was like wearing a book bag.
Right.
He was wearing like a book bag with a book.
Right.
And with pastel colors.
Right.
The other guy had pastel colors in a skateboard. And Cole goes, "Would you wear that to school?" That whole interaction between him and Graves was very funny.
Yeah,
and then Graves at the end goes, I forgot this one. Graves goes at the end, he goes, "Nobody's pulled off the schoolboy costume like that since Angus Young." I just popped at all of that. Bro, Strom looks great shape. Not a fan of him coming out and destroying these guys who aren't over yet. Then he destroys Alpha Academy again, who worked the whole year to be so entertaining. I am not a fan of him just ruining the whole tag division to get him over. The people love this lug, and they pop for him every time they see him, even though it's kind of a cheap pop just coming out and beating up two people at the same time. Yeah.
So Bailey and once the Damage Control make their entrance, and they cut a promo, and Bailey told the crowd they have the power that the fans crave and will never get. Raquel Rodriguez makes her entrance and labeled the Damage Control trio as bullies, and she said they injured her tag partner and are powerless to stop her from getting revenge. So then they do Bailey against Rodriguez, and near the end, Rodriguez picked up Bailey, but Sky raked her eyes while the referees caught up in clearing Kai from the ring. So this is all buried. You knew this would happen. They all interfered, and and Bailey gets the pin on Rodriguez. After the match, they worked over Rodriguez, and Shotzi ran out and pulled Kai to ringside, and then hit Sky. And Cole said Shotzi helping Rodriguez showed the woman in the locker room tired of Damage Control bad-mouthing. What'd you think? So
I've been a big fan of just about everything new that they've been doing, from pushing Austin Theory to bringing Dominic to Judgment Day to mostly everything they've been doing. But there's two things I have not been a fan of. And of course, everything you do is not going to work. I'm not a big fan of the Liv Morgan experiment. And I am not a big fan of Damage Control because it's for as much TV time as they get, and boy, do they get a lot. They are mega unentertaining. They don't cut good promos. They don't really. Bailey's the only one that means anything there. And of course, they do as usual. All three of them have a microphone. the other two girls have to say at least one line, even though they say absolutely nothing. Sky this week said the riveting "Smackdown is our house." Gee, what a promo. They always bring out Raquel. Here's another little pet peeve. They bring out to the most generic. I think they got it from the soundtrack of Zorro music that they could find for like a Mexican. And why would all three girls run from her? They're heels. But anyways, not a fan of Damage Control, as you can tell.
So they announced there's going to be a NXT North American title match later in the show with Solo Sikoa and Madcap Moss. I don't know if they thought that would draw or something. I don't know. So Kayla Braxton was a sit-down interview with Ronda Rousey in a backstage room, and Braxton brought up the finish of the previous meeting with Morgan. Rousey said there would be no controversy. Speak of the devil, Rousey said, and Liv Morgan entered the picture. And asked Braxton if she could have a word with Rousey. Braxton exited the scene, and Morgan took her seat. And Morgan told Rousey she's never met anyone who says words that mean nothing more than Rousey. Morgan said Rousey doesn't respect her, and Rousey said she's due no respect. Morgan recalled retaining her championship in the last match and said the only way she could make Rousey respect her is to earn it. Morgan told Rousey that she wants to face her in an Extreme Rules match. Rousey leaned forward and laughed at Morgan for wanting Extreme Rules match with him. It's your funeral, Rousey said, and Rousey stood up and walked away. What did you think of this?
Well, this is what I think. I think Liv Morgan has been miscast as some tough. There's no way you're going to out badass Rousey. And here's the other part. Rousey is now comfortable on the mic. She's not the giggly little mark she was before, flubbing her lines. Like, she's like over the honeymoon. Hey, oh, gee, really? I'm in WWE? To know I'm in WWE. She took all the backlash from the fans just bearing her. But, bro, you're not going to out badass Ronda Rousey. I'm sorry, unless you're like maybe Charlotte or but it ain't going to be Liv Morgan. And I don't believe in her as a badass. She doesn't come off as a badass. And her promos are not that good. And to tell you the truth, I hope Ronda beats her. Nothing. I thought
this is one of the better promos that she's done, though.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah. So Drew McIntyre comes down, stands at the announcer's table, and challenges Kross to face him man-to-man instead of attacking him from behind. Then backstage, Jay tried to fire up Sikoa in the backstage gorilla position while Sami stood by. Sikoa told Jay that he was off his game, and Sikoa invited Sami to accompany him ringside. Sikoa and Zayn made their entrance to the broadcast team narrative footage of Sikoa beating Carmelo Hayes to win the NXT North American title. Madcap makes his entrance. Basically, they do a...
Let's go back to the promo, because this promo was great.
Okay.
Again, this is a great job because Solo likes Sami, which Jay doesn't like. And that they're continuing on that storyline, which is great. Yeah. Right.
So next is near the end, Moss caught Sikoa diving at him and then performed a fallaway slam. Moss charged for Sikoa, who was pulled to ringside by Zayn. Moss went to ringside and chased Zayn inside the ring, where Sikoa hit him with a super kick and followed with his Uranagi finisher. Just more distractions and stuff. I mean, what do you think?
This was a good match, bro. Madcap's madly underrated. Obviously, this you want to put Solo over, but a little bit too long for my taste. But this was a good match.
Yeah. So next we go to the what do you call it? You know what? This is they made a mistake here. I'm gonna call them out for this.
Right.
We got the main event here, and it's all these teams fighting for the tag titles. We haven't heard one word from any of these people.
That is true, and they usually don't miss. And they usually don't miss like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a lot of long matches. You told me you couldn't pull aside 4 minutes of interview time for a minute for each of these guys. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
But this was a I knew it. I mean, okay. Let me ask you a question. Before this match started, who did you think would win?
It was a street. It was Butch.
New Day against Hit Row against Butch and Ridge, and Gunther and or Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci.
Say the teams again. I'm sorry.
Imperium, Fight Club, Hit Row, and New Day.
I thought who's Fight Club? Oh, the Brawling Brutes. Yeah. What a brutal name. I don't know. I thought maybe Imperium, or I didn't think Butch and Kai. I didn't think the Germans would win it, even though I'm glad they did, or the Russians, whatever. Who did you think?
I thought Ridge and Butch. They're getting good baby face pops lately.
Yeah.
Since they've been fighting against the what's his name, against the Imperium guys.
Yeah.
So I figured that
I was glad they won.
Right, because New Day has been losing a lot lately, and and Hit Row ain't ready yet. You know, they've only had a couple. They've only been on TV for a few weeks, so. But
I thought there was an outside chance because New Day's done so many jobs and put so many people over and kind of gotten buried a little bit. But, bro, they're smart. They know that you can't really bury them. They're very, very over. They still sell merch. You know, like I think they're over themselves and they understand, hey, we're here to get people over. And then, you know, when our turn, they'll give us a little shine, but we're here to get people over. Kind of like The Miz, you know.
Very well done finish here. Vinci rolled up Kingston, who rolled through and got 2 count. Vinci put Kingston down with a spine buster. Kaiser hit Kingston with the knee to the head. Then Vinci and Kaiser hit the Imperium Bomb on Kingston. But while this was going on, Holland made the blind tag to Kaiser, and then he cleared Kaiser from the ring and then covered Kingston for the pin, so got a really good pop there. Basically, the Imperium guys did their finish on Kingston, and Holland did a very smart move and blind tagged him and got the win from those guys doing things. So it was a good pop from the crowd. So I'm curious to see like these guys are over. Like he had to put a strong babyface tag team over here, and I think these guys are getting pushed now.
Bro, let me tell you what was great about this match. It had a lot of cool spots. It had a lot of cool reversals and good high spots and great kickouts and great near finishes and late saves. It was really well done. Really well done. Really good match. So for people that are wondering, oh, what should I watch? Really, every match on SmackDown, what were they? Okay, it was Ricochet and Zayn. That was good. It was
the girls' matches.
Yeah, that was not the main event. Mm-hmm. What other matches?
Madcap, Moss, and Sikoa.
That was a good match. Yeah. All the matches were good.
Yep. So that's been our SmackDown review.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.